Netflix has been in a lot of hot water recently. As I'm sure you're aware, they recently lost about 200,000 subscribers due to them not being able to produce good original content and then cancelling the things people actually want to watch. They seem to be very hit and miss with their original shows and movies. We have things like Cobra Kai and Stranger Things, and then things like Kissing Booth and Tall Girl, which I'm sure are enjoyed by a few people, but overall aren't good. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about Netflix's newest original movie, starring Pete Davidson, J.K. Simmons, and David Koechner. But first, I did want to quickly cover the Netflix situation, just to give context as to why I think this is a horrible move for the company. If you don't really care about the whole Netflix situation, or you just want to go straight to the movie, feel free to skip to this time frame and we'll get onto it from there. Recently, Netflix's share prices have dropped heaps since they announced they lost 200,000 of their subscribers worldwide, with an estimated 2 million still to lose. Its share price slid around 35%, wiping 55 billion off its total worth. Wall Street analysts have been expecting them to gain about 2.5 million subscribers in the next few months, but were shocked to find out that they actually had more cancellations than new subscribers this year so far. This seems to be mainly because Netflix is increasing their prices drastically around the world, with some UK subscribers having to pay a third more than they already did for more or less the same service a few years ago. But the company seems to be happy with these results, saying that these rises seem significantly revenue positive and thinks they still have the best retention in the industry. But while Netflix is happy with this, the subscribers aren't. Recently, Netflix have been axing some of their most viewed programs in favor of these god-awful Netflix originals. And it's not just once or twice. We lost shows like Space Force, Raising Dion, and Archive 81 in favor of Big Mouth and its weird human resources spin-off. Plus, I wouldn't be surprised if we got like 10 more Tall Girl sequels the way things are going. People can't seem to justify the 11 to 23 Australian dollar jump just to have their favorite Netflix originals cancelled in favor of something that's not doing too well on their own platform. Where the hell am I going with all this, I hear you asking? And that's right, I can hear you. Am I trying to warn you about these price increases Netflix has been putting in? No. I'm trying to warn you about Netflix's newest original movie, Marmaduke. That's right, I bet you didn't even know this existed until I said it, because frankly, I didn't until about 2 weeks before recording this. The comic strip that the movie is based on revolves around the Winslow family and their Great Dane Marmaduke. It was drawn by Brad Anderson from 1954 to 2015. You see, it's funny because Marmaduke is this big clumsy dog who gets into all kinds of wacky situations. But wait, haven't we already had a Marmaduke movie before? That's right, we have, starring Owen Wilson as Marmaduke, and everybody loved it. On October 23rd, 2017, it was announced that a CGI Marmaduke movie was in the works. Then in 2018, it was announced that Pete Davidson would be starring as Marmaduke, J.K. Simmons would be playing Marmaduke's rival, Zeus, and David Koechner would be playing Phil Winslow, Marmaduke's owner. The film was said to release in the second quarter of 2019, but because of the pandemic was delayed until 2020. It was left on hold until Netflix acquired the rights to this movie in 2022. And on April 8th, 2022, Netflix released the film's first trailer, along with announcing a May 6th release date. I've just had a look, and as of recording this, it currently sits on a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes with 9 reviews and a 26% audience score with fewer than 50 reviews. If you don't know how Rotten Tomatoes works, that's really bad. So why did Netflix choose to pick this up? As Netflix dropped so many of their most popular shows and upcoming movies, is this the Netflix original that will break the streak? Will Marmaduke reign supreme and earn back the $55 billion they recently lost? Will this make up for cancelling all of your favorite shows? Let's jump into the movie and find out. Really quick before we continue the video, if you guys go on to enjoy the video you're seeing now, maybe leave a like and feel free to subscribe. Both are completely up to you and you can always change your mind. Anyway, back to the video. To start our awful journey, we're greeted with this upbeat opening song over the movie's title card. The song, fittedly titled Marmaduke's Theme, is written and performed by Nicholas Schneer. Once the title card fades away, a voiceover starts. The character narrating is none other than Marmaduke himself, voiced by Pete Davidson, who already sounds like he just doesn't want to be there. As per every movie that starts like this, he basically sets up the story by telling us that his family shamed him for being who he is, a big and ugly dog. My words, not his. And he can't express himself for who he is. This is where we get our first glimpse at the character design in this movie, and oh boy. Marmaduke is locked in his house and isn't allowed to go into his own backyard to his brother Billy's birthday party. A common theme between this and Pinocchio, a movie I analysed a while back, definitely go check that out, is that these voices just don't want to sync up to the animation. It gets better later on in the movie, so just stick with it. But now there's a whole scene with human characters where their mouths don't even move when they talk. And to add on top of that, they have some of the most blandest faces and weird character design that I've ever seen. Then there's this weird scene where this female character is filming the birthday boy running around and says to the girl next to her,
"Lame party." I know, right?
Marmaduke tries to get the child's attention from the window, but it isn't working. Billy's dad, voiced by Phil Koshner, sees this and says, very quietly,
"You're not going anywhere, Marmaduke."
There's no way Marmaduke would have heard this, so unless he was just scheming to himself, it's kind of pointless. Billy begs his dad to let Marmaduke out and play with him, to which the dad explains that Marmaduke needs to learn his lesson for what he's done. Not only is Marmaduke's character design ugly, or the children, but the mum and dad too. I don't even have to explain, just look at this image. Marmaduke thinks back to all the bad things he's done, chasing cats through hedges, eating bones from the trash, and sitting in the dad's favorite chair. He thinks that the way he's been treated is unfair, so to protest being locked inside the house, Marmaduke storms around his room with a drum attached to his back. And he's saying he won't rest until he gets justice, and then goes to sleep. Get it? Because he said he wouldn't rest, and then if you didn't laugh at that, subscribe. While asleep and dreaming, he gets awoken by a bee. They have a bit of a fight, and the bee is more or less victorious. That's right, the tiny bee did beat the large dog. Somehow. The bee sits on a lamp next to the window and starts mocking Marmaduke. Marmaduke charges at the bee and gets thrown out the window, landing in the above ground swimming pool. Now, I get that this is a children's movie, but look at the absolute size of the wave Marmaduke created when he made contact with the water. It just about floods the whole street, but luckily, everyone enjoys it, although the way it's animated looks like they're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The scene cuts to inside the house after the huge tidal wave, and the family is attempting to scoop out all of the water. Again, how can any pool make such big of a splash that it fills the house to about knee height? The parents contemplate the idea of sending Marmaduke to an obedience school, but the daughter and her friend are more excited about the video she took going viral. The video is of Marmaduke jumping out of the window and landing in the pool, and it's played about 7 times on both the phone and then it transitions onto the news. The news station calls Marmaduke impossible to train, despite knowing absolutely nothing about him besides the fact that he just jumped out a window. Fittingly, the quote-unquote world's best dog trainer is watching the news and sees this. He takes up the challenge of training Marmaduke. The way he phrases it makes it seem like he's purely doing it to keep up his reputation, not even for Marmaduke's well-being. Back at home, Marmaduke has become quite the celebrity. Billy is holding a Marmaduke photo session for everyone to come down and get their photo taken with this celebrity. I also find it funny that Marmaduke wasn't allowed to go into his own backyard for his own family's birthday party, but he can sit out on the street with countless of random people, and that's completely fine. The dad comes out to stop the situation, but then is easily persuaded by Billy when money is involved. The world's best dog trainer drives to Marmaduke's house while singing this god-awful song and expresses his interest in training Marmaduke and turning him from a complete mess into a champion. The parents seem skeptical about the idea, but the trainer states that the winner will not only receive a newly trained dog, but huge respect in the dog community. But this still doesn't persuade them enough. It's only then he decides to reveal that the winner also gets $1 million, which of course sparks their interest because this family really seems to love money. After agreeing to this idea, the trainer leaves and does this weird little menacing speech that the dad clearly hears. And it hints to us that maybe he doesn't have the purest intentions. Does he actually want to help Marmaduke? Or is he only doing this for his own personal status? Or is there something else altogether? Billy, Marmaduke, and the cat are playing cowboys, and with Billy on his back, Marmaduke chases the cat around the house, making a complete mess. The dad gets in the way and is pushed over by Marmaduke. This scene doesn't really do anything for the movie besides show how big and clumsy Marmaduke is. All they really do is push some furniture around and then run over Phil twice. And then it just kind of moves to the next scene. Phil wasn't even mad. There isn't any conflict in this scene. It's kind of just there. After this, we move on to the dog park with Marmaduke and the trainer. The trainer takes Marmaduke's name tag and says he has to earn it back, but Marmaduke just wants to go home. The trainer won't let him, so he does this really weird scene with his paws. Just take a look.
If you don't get out of my way, I'm gonna have to unleash thunder, lightning, tornado, and pudding. Pudding's not much of a fighter.
The two fight a bit until the trainer outsmarts Marmaduke. This scene shows how weak the animation is and how none of the voice actors really seem like they want to be there, especially Pete. Marmaduke returns home for the day and is about to start playing with Billy until the dad stops them, saying Marmaduke is too busy with his training. Phil gifts Marmaduke his fancy chair, the one that they would always fight over. Marmaduke expected to fight Phil for it, but instead, Phil says he's earned it. And this upsets Marmaduke because he liked the way things were. He liked the way he would stir the pot and make everyone angry, even though he never really meant to. He liked playing with Billy and getting into silly little fights with Phil over a chair, but now that's all gone. Marmaduke doesn't really feel like himself. And then he gets electrocuted by a fake bone he tries to bite. For the next few mornings, Marmaduke has more and more training sessions. There isn't much out of the ordinary here, it's just basic dog obedience tricks. Except it's funny because Marmaduke is very bad and he is a big and clumsy dog. As the days go on, the sessions get harder and harder, but Marmaduke slowly but surely is getting the hang of things. He eventually even becomes eager to start training instead of being dragged out of bed each morning. Marmaduke earns back his name tag and then confesses his love for the trainer, which is great because tomorrow is Marmaduke's first competition. The family show up to this huge building where the dog show is being held, but inside the building, it is about as small as that above ground pool from the start of the movie. The first dog to come out is voiced by J.K. Simmons, and this dog is Zeus. I can't say this is J.K. Simmons' best movie of recent times, but good for him for branching out to something bad. I love J.K. Simmons, but it really sounds like he's doing a weird Jeff Goldblum impression in this for some reason. It's not an awful impression, but like, why did he sound like that? Everyone is amazed by Zeus because he's just so shiny. This sets him up to be Marmaduke's main rival in the movie. Speaking of Marmaduke, he's in the audience and he's getting a little bit worried because of how good Zeus looks. But Billy tells him not to worry because looks aren't everything, which is sound advice given Marmaduke. The place the competition is being held is selling the shampoo that Zeus uses to make his fur so shiny. And Billy and his sister, I still don't know her name. Have they said her name yet? Anyway, they seem very interested in it. Marmaduke then states that he uses dish soap instead of name brand shampoo to keep himself clean, furthering his worry about this competition. Zeus comes up to the other dogs in the show, which is literally just a small pug and Marmaduke. He's clearly not a very nice dog and starts trash talking Marmaduke. Zeus doubts Marmaduke's chances, but Marmaduke seems confident-ish. Guy, the trainer, on the other hand, is embarrassed after seeing Marmaduke next to Zeus. I would be too. Marmaduke and Guy head into the tent where the dogs are getting ready for the show. Marmaduke tries to psych himself up for the competition until Zeus comes in. He apologizes to Marmaduke for being rude earlier and shows him this little secret in the competition: food. He convinces Marmaduke to eat just as much of it as he wants. Marmaduke starts off worried because he shouldn't eat this close to a competition, but Zeus says this is exactly what he needs. Guy can't find Marmaduke just as the show is starting, and that's because he's eaten the entire tent full of food. He can barely move because of his stomach, it's just so full. The two reunite and head onto the field, but the food comes back to haunt Marmaduke. Marmaduke runs across the field looking for the doggy bathroom, but doesn't quite make it. Instead, he chooses the first place trophy, and well...
What the heck?
This is only the second natural disaster Marmaduke has caused so far. Guy is furious with Marmaduke and calls Marmaduke a not so great Dane. We now go to the kids' school because all of a sudden we have to care about them. A group of girls are bullying the sister for what Marmaduke did at the dog show, and on the other side of the school, Billy is also being bullied for it. All 6 of the other people in the school seem to think Marmaduke is this disgusting dog and take it out on the 2 kids. Billy comes home angry and avoids Marmaduke, so the cat, Phil, and the mum try to cheer Marmaduke up. Not only did he let Guy down, but he also let Billy and Phil down. The mum cares for Marmaduke, but I don't really think the sister and Marmaduke have shared a scene together so far, so the primary relationships of the film seem to be Marmaduke and Billy, and Marmaduke and Phil. Marmaduke stays home moping all day, and the sister, clearly angry at Marmaduke because of the bullying, throws her pom-poms at him. The sister hates Marmaduke, but Billy tries to stand up for him. The parents try to consolidate the kids by telling him that not all dogs are winners, and Marmaduke just naturally isn't good at anything. Phil then pulls out the bill from Guy. The list of items and services Guy bought for Marmaduke is so long enough that they even parody the Star Wars opening credits. Also, this list is insane. There are toenail clippers for $1.99 and then hair products for $29,111.34. Since Marmaduke didn't win the contest, they now have to pay this bill that was supposed to be covered by the winnings. Marmaduke, feeling guiltier than ever, walks away from the family without them knowing. We get this sad montage of Marmaduke running through the rain, listening to the bad stuff all the other characters have said about Marmaduke through voiceovers in his head. The scene is actually kind of sad, but it would have been better if the running animation just wasn't so janky. The cat randomly appears in the middle of the street and Marmaduke chases after him. He saves him from oncoming traffic, and the cat tells Marmaduke not to give up yet because he's a good dog who loves his family. There's a champion inside Marmaduke, one that just saved a cat from oncoming traffic. Marmaduke now believes in himself. He can be a champion if he wants to. He can make things right and win the prize. He shows up to Guy's house and asks for a second chance, but Guy believes it's impossible to train Marmaduke and sends him back home. But instead of going home, Marmaduke runs across the world, even through bodies of water. This somehow ends up on the news, and Guy is astonished by this dog that made a solo trip around the world. Marmaduke returns to Guy's house, but he's still not budging until Billy stands up for Marmaduke and Guy has a change of heart. He gives Marmaduke a second chance because after all, he's the world's best dog trainer, and he's already stated that there's no dog he can't train. Guy calls up the Dog Competition Association to ask if he can bring a rookie into the competition, but then just ends up flirting with the receptionist. This is the weirdest scene in the whole movie. The family, alongside Guy and Marmaduke, show up to the event and we get introductions to all the other contestants, including none other than Zeus, who is confident that first place is already his. Guy meets with the receptionist he talked to earlier and makes dinner plans. The relationship between these two so far seems completely pointless. Zeus goes around talking to all the other dogs and basically says they stand no chance against him. One of the dogs he talks to in particular has superpowers. Marmaduke meets this female dog who he seems to be flirting with until Zeus comes up to him. They then share some back and forth about how they're both better than each other. All the dogs head out onto the field with their trainers. There's a considerably larger crowd this time given that it's the World Championship, and Marmaduke has a lot to make up for and prove he's not just the clumsy dog from the internet who smells bad. Through a series of trials, Marmaduke seems to be holding strong, and Zeus is doing everything more or less perfectly. He seems to be the clear winner out of these dogs, but come on, the movie's not called Zeus, is it? Zeus sabotages Marmaduke by spilling his special hair product under Marmaduke's feet, causing him to slip and slide all throughout the obstacle course, but thanks to plot armor, this actually helps him. But just as everything seems to be going well, Marmaduke slips and falls right into Guy, pushing him into these shelves of hair product. That's right, Guy is brutally murdered by Marmaduke. Oh, never mind, he's just a little bit beaten up. This disqualifies Marmaduke from the contest due to him not having a trainer. The sister tries to comfort him by relating to her silly child problems about a dance or something, I don't know. Probably something TikTok related. Oh my god, her name is Barbara? They've just said her name, it's Barbara. I'm pretty sure they said that before, but I've never heard them say her name. Hold on, wait a second. The character just isn't listed on Letterboxd. What? Only 9 actors are listed here. There's been more than 9 speaking characters, right? They're about to go home until the family band together to be Marmaduke's trainer. Marmaduke is back in the competition just in time for the talent show. The dogs each take their turn showing off their special talents. The funny British dog lifts up the entire stadium. We see this, a musical number, a rap, and Zeus's ability to hypnotize people. And finally, we see Marmaduke's talent. The cat appears out of nowhere once again, and basically they just play cowboy around the stadium. Then it turns into a dance number. Zeus is watching from the distance and state that that isn't a talent, which is fair because it's just them playing as cowboys and then doing a dance. The camera then pans over to the 2 other dogs near Zeus and they're doing Gangnam Style.
Adam Sandler? What are you doing here?
Waiting for them to play Gangnam Style.
Zeus then asks the 2 dogs why they're dancing, then proceeds to dance involuntarily. The dance finishes, everyone loves Marmaduke, and the family all gather around for the reveal of the winner. And to nobody's surprise, the winner is Zeus. Marmaduke believes Zeus cheated his way to the victory royale and throws a shampoo bottle at one of the judges' head. How did he get the bottle, you may ask? Well, the dog I briefly talked about earlier that has superpowers legitimately has superpowers. He lifts a bottle of shampoo with his mind and hands it to Marmaduke. Anyway, as I was saying, Marmaduke throws a bottle at the judge's head which knocks off her disguise, revealing it was one of Zeus's trainers. Zeus is disqualified and making the winner of the World Dog Championship a dog that isn't Marmaduke. But Zeus still isn't happy that anybody who isn't him is getting the trophy, so he leaps onto stage and steals it. But not before Marmaduke uses this weird out-of-body kicking technique to stop him. Marmaduke stops Zeus and saves Billy and a cameraman's life, only to have a big tower fall on him. But he's okay. Zeus gets locked up, Marmaduke gets the girl, and that's that. The end of the movie. Thank God. The credits feature a Marmaduke rap by Marmaduke. Hearing Pete Davidson do a Marmaduke themed rap surprisingly is the funniest part of the movie, but not in a good way, in a very, very bad way. And that's that. That was Marmaduke. This was a very bad movie, as I expected. With such a mishmash cast, it's bound to be a failure. Pete Davidson delivers his lines in a way that makes it sound like he just really doesn't want to be there. J.K. Simmons being in this movie is really what stumps me. His voice doesn't even sound like him for the first half of the movie. And the human characters, besides the dad, they get very little depth to them. The dad at least turns around to Marmaduke's side, but the mum? Billy? Barbara? The mum felt bad for Marmaduke from the start, but was only really there to oppose the dad's side, giving him a personal conflict. Billy is Marmaduke's best friend, and that never changes. He's upset for a second, but not at Marmaduke, just the situation Marmaduke caused. And don't even get me started on Barbara. She's barely in the movie as it is, but she has literally nothing to do with the plot. Take her out of the movie and nothing would change. This movie handled every character very poorly. The animation is so bad, not Pinocchio a True Story bad, but it's still really bad. The story is the most generic plot for a talking dog movie ever. Look, I know it's not that deep, but Netflix's Marmaduke is an awful, awful movie. I can't pick which is worse between this and Pinocchio, but I'm sure there's at least one person who somehow finds enjoyment in either of these movies. I didn't find any enjoyment in Marmaduke. The older movie doesn't really leave much of a mark on cinema history as it is, but it is 1,000 times better than this one. I didn't like this movie at all, but like I always say, movies are the most subjective thing there is. So, although I didn't like it, maybe there's someone watching who did, and that's okay. We all have our own movie opinions, and each one is just as valid as the last. Did you enjoy Marmaduke? Feel free to let me know in the comments below, and while you're down there, maybe leave me some suggestions of what movies you want me to watch next, whether they're really good or really bad. But that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.